India is getting ready for its Gaganyaan mission, the single most expensive scientific mission ever to be undertaken by the country. The effort to send an Indian astronaut into space on an Indian rocket from Indian soil. And like Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, on this occasion, the countdown will also be India's. I am at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, India's foremost rocketry lab. And I have with me Dr. Unnikrishnan Nair. Namaskar.
Sir.
He is the director of the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center and was the founding director of the Human Space Flight Center and somebody who's playing a key role in India's astronaut mission. All of this is readiness for Gaganyaan, sir?
Yes. So what do you see? These are all parts of the human-rated launch vehicle. You can see the hardware. All this hardware will be assembled at, we make sub-assemblies. The sub-assemblies will be moved to Sriharikota where do the final assembly. Here you can see the different types of propulsion systems for the crew module or service module, and engines are also displayed. And
Now, what do we see here?
Here
Seems like the crew module to me.
Yeah, this is the service module being developed by URSC Bangalore. It's a prototype of service module. You can see the blue ones. They are all the solar panels. They are all folded. So once in orbit, the solar panels will be deployed and the power will be generated. And then you can see all these white panels. They are all radiators for rejecting the heat from the crew module. So there is a fluid running from here to this. That fluid will carry the heat. And from here, it will be discharged into the space.
So what will be housed in the service module?
Service module, basically, it is for doing all the on-orbit functions, support of the crew module. It will have the propulsion systems. It will have part of the life support system like radiator and other things. In fact, items that need not be brought back, all these things will be in service module. Thereby, we make the mass of the crew module optimized and minimum. And anyway, in a re-entry mission, objective is to minimize the mass of the re-entry capsule.
Now, in this, you have now almost human-rated the launch vehicle Mark III. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
What have you done for that?
Yeah, human rating is a single word, but it is a process. Right from the material selection, testing, and also the logging of the various events, and then introducing various stage inspection, enhancing redundancy, and then improving the structural structural margins. So it's a sort of a multiple activities. Thereby, we say that the vehicle has got a better reliability than it was, and it has got an escape provision in case the vehicle reliability, if the vehicle is in any problem, it has got a high reliable escape system which can bail out the crew. So all these things put together, we call it as human rated.
So the launch vehicle Mark III is human rated.
Yes.
And we are working on the other aspects, which is going to take some time, and there are testing to be done.
Yeah, there are many tests to be done. Like the integrated vehicle health management system. It is a one system where it will monitor all the vital parameters of the vehicle and then see whether all of them are within the bounds and then take appropriate action to continue or abort. So that is again another software system. It has got its own hardware. All these things will be subjected to extensive testing.
Now, before you fly humans, you will also be flying a humanoid.
Yeah.
Vyomitra.
Yes.
Now, tell me a little bit about Vyomitra and what will she do?
Yeah, this is the Vyomamitra, part of a human, it is a part of the body, being developed by the IISU, very near to Thiruvananthapuram, that is in Vattiyoorkavu. So it can mimic certain actions of crew. You know that in future it is not human alone that we are going to fly. We need a robots as a complementary role. So certain actions will be done by robots. So here the system what they have developed, it can do little bit of commanded action like switching on certain systems, switching off, even it can be asked to take some photograph. It can decode the commands and then take action. So it's the no, the one which is going to fly in the first unmanned.
So it's more than a dummy. It
Yeah.
is something which can
Yes.
has a lot of sensors,
Has got,
and you're actively going to be testing in the uncrewed
Yes.
flight for
Yes.
parameters on this.
Yeah, it has got active parts, even the hand it can move, it can take, it can go and touch the buttons, and it can decode the commands. It has got a little bit of intelligence. So it's like a humanoid which is getting evolved. Definitely more and more features will be added as we
Now,
progress.
what do we see here? This is
Now,
part
this
of the
is
crew
the
module.
full-scale crew module. You can see this is the full-scale screw module where the upper apex cover, which is protecting the parachute, is removed. That is, as it comes down at around 10 kilometers, apex cover is released and the parachutes are getting deployed. So what we see right now, the drop chutes, there are two drop chutes. It is coming down. It is depicted that crew module is coming down. After some time, the crew module, this drop chute will be released by firing explosive pyro bolts. And what you see as the big one, there are three main parachutes. This main parachute will be extracted by small parachute, and that it is going to soft land on three main parachute. In fact, the three main parachute means there is redundancy. Even if two parachutes working, still the touchdown velocity will be very smooth. So when you keep this over that, you get the orbital module, and that is
That
the
is-
scaled one is shown
That is
here.
the scaled model
Yeah,
where you
scaled
see
model.
both. What,
1:3.
what can you see? So the crew module on top, the
Yeah.
service module,
Yes.
and the solar panels.
Solar panels. And you can see there are connections between service module to crew module, like pneumatic lines, plumbing lines, electrical lines, all those things will be run. There are separable joints between these two. So once the function of orbital phase is over, this will be reoriented, and you can see the LAM engine, 5 LAM engines. Those LAM engines will be fired about deorbiting. Once the deorbiting is done, it gets separated at this interface. This gets separated, and this has got control thrusters, like reaction control thruster, that gets oriented, and it's re-enters, and then it goes through the atmosphere, where 99% of its total energy, so very high energy it has got, because the velocity is around 8 kilometers per second.
8 kilometers?
Yeah, in orbit. And it has got close to 5-ton mass. So the entire potential plus kinetic energy will be killed systematically during the atmospheric phase through drag or aerodynamic braking. 99% plus. Remaining will be killed by the parachute system.
Now, the Prime Minister came to Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. He did a review of Gaganyaan, and he wants it done soon. He also released the names of the 4 astronaut designates, and he also showcased them, gave them wings. Is ISRO happy with the 4 astronauts, 3 group captains and 1 wing commander?
Sure. Yes. So they are now into our fold. They have come from Air Force, and they are undergoing training, and this training will continue. And
So what kind of training have they undergone?
no, they have, you know that they are test pilots. So test pilots are nearer to astronauts in terms of their quick response, in terms of tests to which they have been subjected, like a centrifuge test, where the acceleration, they will be subjected to higher acceleration. And then after that, they will undergo medical test, and then they have been taken to the Cosmonaut Training Center in Star City, where they have undergone 13 months generic training on human space flight, like about survivability under different conditions, parabolic flight, where they will be subjected to micro free fall condition, and then free fall condition, they don and off the flight suit. So all those things they have been, they have undergone there. After that, they have come to Bangalore, where the Human Space Flight Center in Bangalore, they have established an astronaut training center, where the further trainings like classroom sessions, simulator training, and physical training, all those trainings are going on.
A lot of people say, why did India select only male astronauts? Why did we not have a female astronaut in the corps? What is
In
that?
fact, when I was HSFC director, that time only this process started, we put this idea to Air Force. But unfortunately at that time, test pilots, there were no women in test pilots. But now I understand They are also coming up in the ladder. I hope soon we will have women test pilots also.
So first few flights we'll have these test pilots flying these are experimental flights.
Yeah.
And later we would probably need mission specialists also.
Yes, we can have scientists, one civilians with more and more experience. We can definitely have them also into the astronaut list.
So women should not feel let down. They will have full opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
ISRO is so many women leaders in ISRO,
yes.
and they do so well.
Yes.
What is this crew module we see?
So this is a full-scale crew module. This is the full final size of the crew module, with you can see that apex cover, which will still further come down and protect the top. So similarly, you can see that what is shown there.
First, tell me this: how large is this? How many astronauts can it accommodate for how long?
It is diameter is something like 10 feet plus 3.1 meter, and it is configured for can take up to 3 crew. But depending upon the mission requirement, you can have 2 or 1.
This is part of the environment control and life support system.
See, where the crew is giving out carbon dioxide, and they are while they are inhaling the pure air, air, they give out carbon dioxide, and also there will be odor due to say
Body
sweat
odor
or
will be
body
there,
odor.
and also-
So we need a air revitalization system. So what we do, there is a pump that will extract the cabin air and pass it through this. It has got special chemicals that will absorb the odor as well as the carbon dioxide, and the fresh air will be given out.
And we are developing the environment control life support system on
Yes.
our own.
Yeah.
We are not buying it from outside.
No, we are developing totally indigenous.
And that is what is taking some time for us.
Yes.
Because it's not easy, and I'm
Yeah.
told it was very expensive overseas.
It's because we are artificially creating the atmosphere, like partial pressure of oxygen, temperature, humidity, all those things we need to simulate in a small volume. So it is, it's so that way it is complex.
Now, what do we see here?
So this is a typical Russian seat, where you can see they use the philosophy of lying in a cradle, where your body mass is distributed over large area, and because of that, your comfort is a function of how much area you take for distributing your mass. So the liner inside is custom made for each crew, depending upon their posture, and that liner, when they lie down with a belt, their maximum body area will be supported. So when they are subjected to higher acceleration, especially under abort condition, the acceleration could be 12 times gravity. So their weight could be 12 times their own weight. At that time, this is helping them a lot to lessen the pressure of high acceleration.
And we couldn't develop this on our own. That is why been in a rush. We bought it.
No,
from
it is
Russia.
not so, because the important part is the flight suit. So we need the flight suit. Suppose anything goes wrong with the environmental control system of crew module, the flight suit can protect the crew for 1.5 hours.
So, is this the final flight suit which
this
will be
is,
worn by one of our astronauts,
correct.
or 2 or 3 when they go up?
Yes, this is the flight suit, which has got pure oxygen supply, and they can be there. They can be supported for 1.5 hours in that condition. So under emergency, the flight suit becomes very vital, and not only that, during ascent and descent phases, which are the dynamic phases, it is mandatory to wear flight suit. So this system is something which we are buying from the Russians, and because these two are associated, that's bucket also we are getting.
Oh, you have to get the bucket together.
Because
now,
of the interface.
This suit, we are also developing on our own?
Yes, we have done through some industry, but then we need to further take it up and qualify. For the flight suit, which, as you can see, there is a control valve. They can adjust the pressure, and usually during ascent and descent, they will be having the same cabin air supplied. In case of a cabin, say, compartment pressure drop, they will close the visor, and this will be supplied with pure oxygen at around 0.4 bar.
Now, we have the Indian flag on it, but why do we have the Roscosmos logo? If we bought it, it should be our ISRO logo on it.
Maybe this is a model, we will see at that time.
Okay, so this is right now for
Yeah,
display.
display.
It is not the
Yeah.
final thing,
No, no.
but this is how it will look.
Yeah.
When our astronauts finally climb in,
Yes.
they will be wearing something very similar.
Similar to this.
Now, the 4 crew which are being trained,
Yeah.
here is a simulation of that. That is how
Yeah.
you said the seating posture
Yes.
would be, and this is their posture as they stand.
Yeah.
They are being trained on something like this.
Yeah,
What is this?
This is a crew training simulator developed by the Human Space Flight Center. As I told you, the training is going on there. And this is a full-scale simulator where it has got the hatch. So how they can enter the cabin and how to lie down on the seat and what is the reach, where is what, how to reach that point, and the comfort of where it is comfortable to keep the what you call the display panel, all those things, and how fast they can come out, how fast they can get in. So this simulator will have many uses, and this is an integral part of.
So the astronaut designates are being trained on this just now.
No,
on the simulator?
Here it is on display.
Meaning wherever in
Yeah,
ISRO, somewhere in
yeah,
ISRO.
They will be using this, and then their feedback will be taken again. Those things will continue.
Now let's close this hatch. That is how the astronauts would be safe inside.
Yeah.
You'll send them up
Yes.
and then safely bring them back.
Sure.
Now, what is the timeline? When can we expect, because you have so many tests to do?
Yeah.
What is the time?
Anyway, our chairman was telling, no, we are now, our focus is on to qualify the escape system and complete all the tests and carry out the unmanned flights. And there are a couple of test vehicle flights. So maybe in another couple of years time frame, we will be ready to take up the manned flight.
And before we do that, we have to have 2 successful
And,
uncrewed
yeah.
flights.
And we will be having maybe in by the middle or second half of this year itself, we are targeting to have the first unmanned flight.
So exciting time for the human space flight program.
Yes, not only human space flight program, and there is one.
Absolutely. That is very heartening to hear. And India is so proud of its space program, and to see so much success happening one after the other. Chandrayaan 3 soft landing nearer the south pole of the moon. Aditya L1 reaching nearer the sun,
Reached.
and then reached nearer the sun to its L1 point and starting the science. And now the Gaganyaan readiness going on in a big way, and hopefully soon to have an Indian astronaut going up from Sriharikota. So the first director of the Human Space Flight Center, a happy man?
Yes, I'm excited, I'm very happy, and I'm looking forward to 100% successful mission.
Thanks a lot for speaking to me, Dr. Unnikrishnan Nair.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure learning from you, and hopefully we will have the first human going from India into space. So that was an understanding of the Gaganyaan mission, for which the readiness is going on in a very big way. The crew simulator is right behind us, where the crew or the astronaut are being trained and tested for their skills. That is the suit which they will use, and this is the suit in which we will finally see Indian astronauts going into space. As India gets ready for the Gaganyaan mission, India can hope for sending an Indian in space on an Indian rocket from Indian soil, and even the countdown will be Indian. And the first crew would be a test pilot from the Indian Air Force. 4 astronauts are already designated, and India already has one astronaut in Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, who went up wearing a similar suit on a Soviet mission in 1984. So very soon, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma would have company of astronauts who've gone to space and come back. At the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, with camera person SP Babu in Thiruvananthapuram, Pallav Bagla for NDTV.